What is up, pal fam, and welcome to day 9 of Countdown to FIDE 100. My name is Paul Emmanuel Habaradas, aka Paul POW, and I apologize for my voice right now. I'm currently ain't feeling well, so you'll expect some of this bad stuff happening in this video. Now you know. We're now in the year 1932, and this is a game between Milan Vidmar and Géza Maróczy. And guess what? I am going to deal with it with hundreds of moves that counts up to a total of 129 moves. Okay. Let's try not to rush it, so here we are. So, this is a game played in 1932. Let's just find out how the game goes on. Milan starts with d4, and d5, c4, e6, knight f3, c5. The c and d pawns are now in the center. And then when it's c takes, e takes, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, knight f6, castle, bishop e7, knight t3, and castles, d takes c5, d4, knight b5, bishop takes, and bishop f4. I feel that it's good development for white. So what should have been? It should have been b4. And then when bishop takes, bishop b2, d3, queen takes, and then exchange pieces, rook d8, knight e5, bishop to d7, an equal position. But what about a6 after bishop f4? It would have been it, but knight d5 could be the way to go because of this thing trying to take this. And it's a double pawn. And then bishop d2, queen b6, queen a4, a6, knight bt takes, knight takes, knight takes, and bishop takes. White, the game is still equal. Okay, back to a6. Rook c1, bishop b6, knight to d6, knight h5, knight takes and rook takes, bishop g5, queen d5, and g4. Okay, trying to go ahead with this. Well, let's find out e4, and queen e6, e5, h6, bishop d2, rook f, e8, rook e1, rook c d8, knight h4, and g6. White is in a slight advantage. Okay, what about h6? It could be that because it tries to take this and this. But let's see that bishop takes, g takes h5. So the queen is exposed. But I don't know why, but there's a terrible move of queen a2. If king h8, it prevents more and more checks for black. Queen b5, and then the exchange. Okay, what are we having here? This is crazy. It's still an equal position after all. But let's see knight h4. Yeah, it was a bad move, but still. What about bishop to h3? You can just simply take this. Wait. And then rook c7 goes to move queen d2, f5, king h1, rook f6, rook g1, rook g7, bishop takes, and queen a5. Well, yeah, exactly as it is, but what about queen e6 and then queen d3, queen f6, knight f5, king h8, knight g3, and rook fe8? Still in an equal position. Knight e5 is the way to go. This one, and then it then goes d3, queen takes d7, rook d8, and then instead of doing like this, he does like this. Ignores the pawn. But it's a little bit risky as the pawn is about to promote. Yeah. And then when it goes queen e6, there is still more to go after all, so let's find out what's next. After rook fe8, queen b3, equal position, knight a5 and queen a4. It could be that one, but if he goes like this, as the variation says, and then for example let's say let's take this and then go here king, he loses a white loses a queen, but after all he's up by 2 rooks. So what about he goes to take it instead, and then queen b4, rook d8, bishop e4, queen d6, and then they exchange, and rook c1. It's still an equal position. Okay, so let's find out why it's at queen e7, a terrible one again. So what about knight c6 as well? Queen b3, knight e5, rook takes, bishop takes, rook b8, knight e4, queen g7 check. Okay, the position may be equal, but if he goes here and then he takes it, I could say like, what's a better one? Like here. And something like that. So queen e7 is the other one, and the variation goes on with b4, knight c6, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, queen e6, and rook c1. The position is equal again, or white is getting better about it. So bishop e4 goes on the next move. I could say that it was fine after all, but when rook g8, rook takes, king h1, rook g8, bishop b1, queen to e6, queen c2, and queen c6 check, it saves white from getting mated. That's the only thing. It's a good one because, you know, when it takes and takes, the mating plan is gone for white, at least for now. So when rook takes c1 rather, rook g8, queen c2, and queen b4, terrible one again, because if it's queen e6 and b4, knight c6, bishop takes, rook c8. I don't know why he does it. Take it. There. Okay. So why b4 is the bad one? I don't know why, but I think he just left it hanging. But oh, never mind. He cannot go like this because of this. So queen e6 should be the one. Then b4, Knight c6, bishop takes. Oh wait, that's the one other one anyway. Bishop d5 is the one. Is on the main game. d3 and e takes. Oh, now there are now 3 isolated pawns and a double pawn. This is a terrible one for white. But when it's queen takes, it saves from an isolated pawn. But queen beats, queen takes, and queen d6, rook b3, rook g7, and bishop takes. It's a slightly better position for white. Okay, let's go back, and then there goes bishop takes, bishop e4, a bad move again. If queen f4, rook f1, rook g5, bishop e4, rook c5, queen a4, rook b5 again, queen a3, king g8, and yeah, the position is equal again. So it's still far from over, but let's find out what's next. Rook f1 is a terrible one, but what's about king g2? Queen takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and rook takes, rook f8, knight c6, and bishop e4. It's in a slight advantage for white. So let's find out about queen b6. Still the position is equal, but bishop g2, another bad move of f5. If queen f6 is the one. Wait, speaking of f5, it cannot take like this. That's the problem. So queen f6, king h1, knight c6, f4, bishop takes b2, knight e4, queen g7, knight d6, and bishop to a3. Okay, it is crazy. Okay, so f5 is the other one. King h, instead of taking that, there's king h1. Vidmar goes king h1, Marcosi goes queen f6, queen c7, and f4. Oh. If it's knight c6, queen takes, and then knight e7, b3, a5, bishop to d5, rook g7, bishop c4, king h7. Now, here it's a slight advantage for white. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If so, f4 is I think it's a blunder because it leaves the knight hanging. But I don't know, it's not a blunder, but when it goes like this, and then f takes, f takes, queen e5, queen takes, and yeah, it's an equal position still, but the variation goes queen b4, a5, queen takes, queen e2, queen c6, queen takes, bishop d5, rook d8, bishop to e4, and bishop to g7. It's good after all. Okay, so when it goes queen takes, bishop takes, white is better. But when bishop takes and then bishop takes again, it isn't. Look at those pawns. It's about to be gone. Or just this pawn only. So the better one is rook g5, b3, rook takes, king g2, a5, rook f7, bishop to b2, bishop to e4, and king g8. Okay, so white is a bit better in this variation. So when bishop takes, oh, anyway, rook b1 is better, as the engine said. Bishop d4, rook b4, bishop c5, rook c4, rook g5, g4, a5, h4 and rook e5. It's unequal and white is better. There's still a lot to cover, so rook g5 is a better one. So let's just fast forward about it. If you think the end game is about, you think the game is ending, you're wrong. Bishop f2 is the worst one, but bishop h2 can go for it. And then g4, bishop g3, d4, bishop h2, king d5, bishop g1, bishop d3, bishop to e3, and bishop f1. White is now better about it. So let's find out, and g4 is the other one. So white is winning, but think again. It just made a mistake by Markowski of bishop g1. So let's go ahead, king g5, king e5, bishop g3, king d5, bishop to f2, king d5, not king, e4, king f6, bishop c4, and bishop g1. White is better. So what about bishop king d5 in operation? White is winning after d4, bishop h2, bishop f1. There you have it. So let's find out what's bishop f2 and then king to d6. Ooh. The better one was d4, bishop g1, bishop to e6, bishop to e3, bishop to d3, bishop g1, king c4. Okay, white is winning about it, but yeah. So let's find out bishop e3. Okay. What about king g5, king e5, bishop g3, king d5, bishop f2, d4, king f6. Okay. So white is winning about it, but let's find out what's next. So yeah, bishop e4 is not the one. But what about g5, h6, bishop f3, king f6, king d7, bishop e3, bishop e4, king g7, king d6, king h6, and white is winning as well. So let's find out what about king f6. Okay, bishop g6 is the one. So what about king d7, bishop to f2, bishop to f5, bishop to d4, king d6, bishop to b2. What? I made a mistake, didn't I? It's bishop f5. It's bishop f5. Then bishop h7, bishop d4, king d5, bishop e3, and white is better about it. So when bishop g6 is the variation goes king g7, white is winning it. Because look at the difference of the remaining pieces on the board. Black just isn't ready to give up, but he just wants bishop d4 this one. And white is better about it. Okay, there's still more to go. King f, bishop f2 still. King f4. So here, it's a winning position for white. But let's see, king e4, okay. Just trying to argue on the end game. What's about e4? Bishop to e3, bishop to e3, bishop f2, bishop e2, bishop e3, bishop to p5, bishop to g1, bishop to e7, bishop to f2. Okay, it's good enough to make this game a draw, but white is better this. So black goes, white goes king e4, and Géza made another mistake of bishop g1. If it's bishop g3 and then d4, bishop f2, d5, bishop g3, king d4, bishop d6, h4, bishop f8, and bishop c2. White is better about it. Okay, what's next on d4, bishop f2, d5, bishop c5, and bishop d3. Okay, it's still far from over. It's gonna be a long one after all. So what goes on h4? Bishop d6, king d4, bishop g3, king c5, bishop takes, d6, king g5, king c6. Oh, bishop g5, not king g5. Okay, so white is winning on king e5, and then let's see what's next. Oops, I've went too much. So bishop f5 is the one, but what's the better move? Let's find out. So white is now better about it, but let's find out bishop f8. Okay, it's good enough to be true, but what about bishop a3, bishop c8, bishop to e7, bishop to e6, bishop to f8, g5, bishop to e7, and g takes, and king f6. White is winning about it. Okay, so let's go back here, and there's a lot more to go. So bishop b1 is next, but the better one. It's bishop e6, e7, bishop f5, bishop d6, and then there, white is winning. So let's go back to bishop e1, and then bishop e7 is next, bishop a2, bishop f8, and king d3. Okay, but it's still, I can say that it's still protected. Not here, not there, not here, not there, here. But a better one is king b5, king d6, g5, bishop c7, bishop g7, king c4, h takes, bishop to b3, bishop to b2, h6, and bishop to c1. White is already winning here. Okay, so what's on bishop c5? It's a terrible one again. So what's about king f4, bishop b3, bishop e7, king c4, king e5, bishop a2, bishop a3, king b5, and king d6. White is now winning after all. So let's continue. Bishop b3 makes white still remain better, but when g5, bishop f8, g takes, and bishop takes, king c4, bishop to e3, bishop to b3, bishop to h6, c4, not king c3. I just made a mistake again. here, and then bishop to f8 check. Okay, let's go back. Okay, another terrible one for Vidmar. If it's king d3, bishop f8, king c4, bishop e7, bishop c2, bishop f8, bishop f5, bishop d6, bishop e6, and bishop d7. It's a winning position for white. So what's bishop e7 and bishop e2 is another terrible one for Maróczy. So let's see king e3, bishop d8, king d3, bishop g5, king c3, bishop e7, king c4, bishop 2, a3, king b5, and king d6. White is now winning here. Okay, let's go back with bishop a2, bishop f8, another terrible one. But let's find out bishop h4. Okay, so this time in this variation, white is now in a slight advantage. But you can just go stay here. But I do not recommend. I don't think if you can recommend that. I might just over under the 50 move rule. King e2 is next. I don't know, another bad one. Let's find out. Okay, I guess there is now a pass pawn on this position. Probably if he goes here and then takes and like takes, probably here and there. And when he goes like here and go there and no. Neither of these are good. Anyway, let's go back. Bishop e7 is next. Ooh. What's about king e4, bishop b3, king e5, g5, h6. Okay, so white is now better about it. So let's find out what's next. Bishop e3 is the other one. What about king f3, bishop g5? Okay, at least it's getting crazy about this, which, yeah. So let's go back to bishop f8. Oh, good one. Good one, but the better one is bishop f6. Okay, so it's a white leading after all. So let's go back and go king c4. They're just arguing the pawn cannot move. When was the last time the pawn was moved? The 59th move. I don't know by any chance if it's gonna be in the 50 move rule. Okay, let's go on the variation. It's gonna be a long one. So yeah, there's the variation. White is winning here. Bishop e7 is a bad one, but what about bishop e6? Bishop e6. Oops. then there goes bishop to b2. Okay, this is absolutely crazy. And we're now to have our what is going on. So let's go back, and there goes bishop e6. But the better one is bishop c8, bishop h4, king c5, king f6, king b6, bishop g3, king c6, bishop h4, d6, king f7, and white is now winning again here. So what about bishop to e6, and then bishop f8, bishop d7, bishop e7, bishop c8, and another bad move of Géza is bishop f8. What about king e4, h4, king e5, g5, h takes, h6, king f6, h takes, king takes, and white is now winning here, as if it goes here and then probably here, goes here, there, and I guess promotion takes here and probably like here, and so on. We're still far from over after all. That's a lot of variations. So what about bishop e6? The better one is gh6. Okay. This could be well. Let's say bishop e6 and then bishop e7 and king b5. Okay, but the better one is bishop g8, bishop a3, g5, bishop c1, g6, king d6, bishop e6, bishop b2, king d3, and king e7. Okay, white is now better at this position. Let's find out king d6, and then let's see what's next. Okay, so a terrible one for white, or for black rather. Let's find out the variation. I cannot voice any further, so we should make this a little bit faster, but yeah, I'm fighting through it, and this is not a fake video. Okay, it's but let's see the variation. So white is now winning here. Okay, good enough. Bishop to f8. If it's king e4, it's white winning better here. Okay, we're now in the move 90. What just happened to be a bad move of bishop f7. So what about king f3 and bishop e7, king g3, bishop g5, king e3, not king g3. Okay, so white's winning here. Let's go back. Bishop e7, king f2, and bishop c5, another bad move. What if it's king e4, bishop e6, king f4, king e2, king e4, king d2, king d4, king c2, and bishop to f6. Okay, this just goes on and on and on. White is now winning here after king e2, and then bishop e7, bishop d3, bishop f8, and king c4. Okay, it's just, it's been waiting for a bit while. So yeah. So let's see the variation. g5, h takes, bishop e6, bishop g7, king c4, bishop to f8, king b4. Wait. King b5, bishop d6, king d6 rather, and bishop h6. Okay, white is now winning here. Well, let's find out king e7. No, king e7, bishop e7 rather, then bishop e5. So the better one is bishop e6, king f6, king d5. King c6, king e7, g5, bishop f4, g6, and bishop e5. Okay, so the variation says it's gonna be a winning game for white because you cannot do like this. It's like this, takes, and queen. So let's find out king d6 and then bishop e6. So what's the better one? King c4, bishop g7, h4, bishop f6, g5, h takes, and bishop takes. So yeah, white is now better in that variation. So let's continue. Bishop f8, bishop king b6, bishop e7, and king b7. Okay, so what about king b5 is the other variation. It's better, as the variation said. Okay, so here we have winning possession. Okay, so what's next? Bishop h4, bad move again. Bishop d8, bishop g8, bishop f6, king b6, bishop e7, bishop e6. And it's still white's getting better about it. The other one, but if it's king b6, okay, and right here, and then bishop to b2. Okay, good enough. If it's bishop d8, king b5, alright. We're now in the 100th move of the game. King b5, bishop e7, king c4, bishop e5, king d3, and bishop f8. Yeah, it's still arguing about it. But what's one? Bishop f6, king c4, bishop e7, bishop f5, bishop e6, bishop g6, bishop e7, bishop e8, and bishop f8. White is winning here. So let's go back and let's see king e3, and then the variation goes g5, h takes, king c4, bishop to e7, h6, king f6, h7, king g7, and if he promotes, it's a lose just a pawn, but you can just go like this as well. So what about bishop c5? Okay, it's a bad move. So let's find out. Bishop g7, king d3, bishop f6, king c4, bishop e7, bishop g8, bishop to e3, bishop f7, and bishop to e7. Okay, white is now absolutely winning here, but it's still 2.78 on the system thing. Okay, we're almost done. King f3 is next, but the better one is king d3, bishop e7, king c4, king f6, king e5, king e5, king c6, bishop to f6, bishop to f5, and bishop to e7. Okay, I get it. White is winning here again. What about bishop f8? Okay, white is winning here, but after... I think white is winning after this variation instead. There. Okay. It seems impressive. So let's go back with bishop f8 and then king g3, bishop e. Okay. Just going back and forth after all. But king e4, king f2, bishop c5, king e2, bishop e7, bishop e6, bishop g5, bishop e7. White is getting better at this position instead of winning. So h4, he finally broke the 50 move rule. After 48 moves, I can guess. But what about king f3, bishop e7, king e3, bishop g5, king d3, bishop h4, king c4, bishop e7, bishop e6, and bishop f8. White is winning here, but I don't know if this game ends in a draw in the 50 move rule. So let's proceed. Okay, another bad move of h6. If it's takes king g3, bishop d2, king f3, bishop g5, bishop e6, bishop h6, king e2, and king f6. That's now it's a slight advantage. Things are a bit downhill. Another bad move for Marcosi with king f6. What just happened? Let's see. G takes h4, h7, bishop f6, king g4, king to d6, bishop to f7, king e5, bishop e6, and king d6. It's an equal position. So let's go back with king f6 and then h5 goes forward, and then let's see what happened. Bishop f8, king g4, bishop takes d6, bishop f8, d7, bishop e7, and another bad move of bishop of h6. I can say that don't do h6 just yet. So bishop h7, king g7, bishop e4, bishop d8, king f5, king g8, bishop f3, king h7, and white is better at least. But when things goes downhill, king g6 makes the position equal. And let's see how the game concludes. h7, king g7, h8-2, bishop. Yes, it's not queen, it's bishop. So he goes, takes it, and then goes another one goes d8 to bishop as well. Under promotion, double under promotion in this game. So king takes, bishop c7, bishop d6, king takes, bishop, king f7, king f5, bishop takes, and king g4, and the game ends in a draw. Okay, it's finally over. So yeah, you've seen it. The game ends in a draw with 129 moves to spare due to insufficient material. Okay, Pal Fam, that's all on this day 9. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and become a Patreon member at patreon.com/PaulPower. Subscribe to my channel, Pal Vlogs. Follow me on Twitch, Paul Habaradas, X, Paul Habaradas, TikTok, Paul Habaradas, Instagram, Paul Power YT, Threads, Paul Power YT, as well as Facebook, Paul POW with an exclamation point. So yeah, I'll work out on my voice, and hopefully the next countdown to FIDE 100 in 1933 will be a bit better for my voice. At least my voice can now handle 129 moves. I could say it's like 200 to 300 moves, including variations. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for the 10th day. We're just 9% done in the 10th day in the year 1933. So I'll see you tomorrow, pal fam.